I feel like we've kind of reached this really weird, frustrating plateau with tech lately.
Oh, yeah, completely.
Because everyone knows artificial intelligence is this massive leap forward, right? Like you see the headlines, you hear all the hype, but when you actually sit down at your computer
Yeah.
to, tap into that
It's
power,
like you hit a wall.
exactly.
Hmm.
It feels like you're constantly hitting a toll booth.
Yeah.
You want an AI to help you draft better emails. That's a $20 monthly subscription.
Right. And if you need to generate a specific graphic for a client presentation,
Yeah, prepare to pull out your credit card for another $30. It's insane.
it really is. I mean, the subscription fatigue is a very real barrier right now. People are experiencing this extreme exhaustion before they've even had the chance to fully integrate these workflows into their daily lives.
Yeah, the barrier isn't learning how to prompt the AI anymore,
No, not at all. It's the compounding monthly paywalls that are guarding all the best features.
which is precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking into the 2026 Essential Free AI Toolkit.
A very necessary topic.
Right. Because we combed through our sources to find 5 tools that provide, like, massive professional grade value without ever asking for a credit card.
$0.
0. And looking through this list, it honestly feels like discovering a secret, totally free menu at a ridiculously expensive restaurant. You just have to know what to actually ask the waiter for.
That's a great way to put it. It's a fundamental shift in access. Because while the consumer-facing landscape is definitely littered with all these tiered subscriptions, the tools we are examining today are quietly changing the baseline.
Changing what's possible for free.
Exactly, for zero cost. I mean, we are talking about everything from raw coding and deep data analysis to high-end graphic design and presentation generation.
It's for everyone, right?
Yeah, students, creators, professionals, entrepreneurs. It represents this massive democratization of capabilities that, quite frankly, used to cost thousands of dollars or require hiring an entire external agency.
So let's just treat this like we are building a project from scratch today. Say you, the listener, have a massive idea, but you are a team of one.
Okay, the solo founder scenario.
Right. Before we get into the polished consumer-facing apps to, like, market this idea, we have to actually build the foundation. We need the raw engine.
And that starts with Google AI Studio.
Yes, our sources point us first to Google AI Studio. Now, standard chatbots are great for answering emails, sure, but using them always feels like sitting in the dining room of a restaurant, ordering off a fixed menu.
You get what they serve you, basically.
Exactly. But Google AI Studio seems more like walking into the commercial kitchen itself.
That is a highly accurate way to look at it, actually, because Google AI Studio gives you direct back-end access to their most powerful Gemini models.
So it's not filtered.
Right. You aren't operating through this filtered consumer interface. You are interacting with the underlying architecture. You have the raw ingredients in your hands.
Okay, what can we actually make with those raw ingredients, though?
Well, our sources note that the capabilities here include standard chat, sure, but also analyzing massive files and, critically, writing code.
And it's really free.
Yeah, it features what the source specifically calls an extremely generous free tier, and that allows everyday users to generate functional apps and prototypes.
I want to dig into that specific mechanism for a second, because the idea of generating an app sounds, I don't know, like magic to anyone who doesn't write code.
It really does.
Like, I might have the keys to the commercial kitchen, but if I don't know how to cook, I might just burn the whole place down.
Fair point.
So how does a non-coder actually use this? If I'm an entrepreneur with an idea for, say, a basic inventory management app, how is this tool bridging the gap between my messy idea and actual functional code?
Well, it bridges that gap by acting as a sort of universal translator. It translates human intention into machine syntax.
Okay.
Because historically, if you wanted a computer to build an inventory app, you had to speak its language perfectly. Python, JavaScript, whatever it might be.
Right, and one misplaced semicolon and the whole thing just breaks.
Exactly. It's incredibly rigid. But what Google AI Studio does is allow you to write your instructions in plain English.
So I just talk to it.
Yeah. You can upload a messy CSV file of your current manual inventory and literally just type, analyze these data structures, and write a Python script to build a searchable database with a user interface.
And it just knows how to do that.
Yeah, the AI understands the logic of your request, it determines the necessary syntax on its own, and then it outputs the raw code. The friction of needing to memorize coding languages is just completely removed.
Wow. Which is incredibly empowering, It means the only limit is really the quality of your logic, not your ability to type brackets and semicolons all day.
Right, you can prototype an idea over the weekend instead of paying an agency $50,000 to do it for you.
That is wild. But all right, let's trace the next step in our hypothetical project here.
Okay.
We have our raw prototype built, or our massive data files analyzed by Google AI Studio. Now we have to build our strategy around it.
We need to synthesize the information.
Exactly. We have this mountain of research, PDFs, internal notes we've collected. We have to move from generating new code to wrangling the information we already possess.
And our source highlights NotebookLM for this exact bottleneck.
Yes, NotebookLM.
How does this fit in?
Well, this is where we shift from a generalized AI to a highly localized one. NotebookLM solves a very specific problem that's kind of inherent to modern knowledge work.
Which is what?
Well, most massive AI models are trained on the entire public internet, right? But when you are building a strategic project, you don't actually care about the whole internet.
Right, I only care about my stuff. Exactly. You care about the 50 specific PDFs, the market reports, and the interview transcripts that are just sitting in a folder on your desktop.
So NotebookLM acts as, like, a localized research assistant.
Precisely. You upload your specific documents, and it creates an isolated knowledge base.
So it's essentially siloing the data. It puts blinders on the AI so it can only see what I explicitly feed it.
Yeah, and that siloing is critical because it fundamentally changes the reliability of the output.
How so?
Because when you ask it to summarize a trend, it is pulling strictly from your uploaded PDFs. It isn't trying to, guess the answer based on billions of random web pages it read 3 years ago.
Right, it's not hallucinating some blog post from 2014.
Exactly. It focuses entirely on your trusted, curated material. The source highlights this as being particularly invaluable for students, trying to ingest a semester's worth of lectures, or creators organizing dense research for a long-form project.
Now, I was looking at the source material on this, and there's a feature here that completely caught me off guard.
The audio feature.
Yes. It says NotebookLM can turn your uploaded documents into an AI podcast.
It's pretty amazing.
I read that and immediately thought about the sheer volume of dense, dry market research reports I force myself to read every month.
Oh, we all have those.
Are you telling me I can drop a 100-page PDF into this tool and it will synthesize it into an audio conversation between two AI hosts?
It absolutely will. And it's a profound shift in how we process information, honestly. Because we aren't all visual learners who absorb complex data best by staring at blocks of static text on a glowing screen.
I am definitely not. My eyes literally glaze over by page 10.
Right, which is why transforming that text into a dynamic, two-voice audio discussion is just so effective. It engages a completely different cognitive pathway.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can upload that dense market research report, pop in your earbuds, and listen to two voices debate the key takeaways while you are out walking the dog or commuting to work.
So it's not just reading the text to me like a robot.
No. It contextualizes the information. It pulls out the most important nuggets of insight in a conversational format. It makes the absorption of dense material practically frictionless.
That feels like a total superpower for staying informed.
It really is.
But of course, a project can't just rely on internal data forever. Eventually, we have to look outward, right?
Right, you need external validation.
Yeah, NotebookLM is perfect for your internal strategy documents. But what happens when you need to scour the web for external facts?
That's usually where people get nervous with AI.
Exactly. My hesitation with using AI for external web research is always the hallucination factor.
Sure.
Because if I am pitching an investor and I include an AI-generated market statistic that turns out to be, entirely fabricated.
Your credibility is completely destroyed.
Destroyed. Finished.
And that anxiety is entirely justified, by the way. It points to a fundamental flaw in how standard large language models operate.
Okay, break that down for me.
Well, standard models are, at their core, prediction engines. They don't actually know facts, quote unquote. They are just guessing the most statistically likely next word based on their training data.
So they're just really good at Mad Libs.
Kinda, yeah. And when they don't have the data, they guess anyway. That is a hallucination. But that is where our third tool, Perplexity AI, completely changes the architecture.
Right. So our source defines Perplexity as an AI-powered search engine designed for real-time web research, and specifically notes that it includes its sources. So how is its architecture actually avoiding that mad legs hallucination problem?
It uses a completely different mechanism called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG.
RGRAG, yeah.
Yeah. So instead of just guessing the next word, when you ask Perplexity a question, it acts like an automated research team.
How does it do that?
It goes out to the live current internet, runs multiple search queries, pulls the actual text from the most relevant articles and databases, reads them, and then synthesizes an answer based strictly on the text it just retrieved.
Wait, so it's reading the live internet right then and there?
Exactly. And most importantly, it provides clickable footnotes for every single claim it makes.
Oh, wow. So instead of handing you a map and telling you to find the treasure yourself, it's like having a dedicated librarian.
Yes.
A librarian who doesn't just confidently tell you the answer, but slides a stack of books across the desk, opens them up, and highlights the exact sentences to prove they are right.
That is the perfect way to visualize it, honestly. It shifts the entire burden of proof.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for decades, the standard search paradigm has been, you type in a query, you get a list of blue links, and the burden is entirely on you to click those links.
Read the articles, cross-reference the data, figure out what's true.
Right. You have to synthesize the truth yourself. Perplexity flips that model. It changes the paradigm from here is a list of links you must read to here is the synthesized answer and here are the receipts to prove it.
Which completely neutralizes that hallucination anxiety we talked about.
Exactly.
Because if I'm putting a slide together about the growth of the electric vehicle market,
Yeah.
Perplexity gives me the synthesized trend. But then I can literally click the little footnote number and see that it pulled that exact stat directly from a recent Bloomberg article.
Right.
I don't have to trust the AI at all. Really, I can verify the primary source instantly. It is an incredible leap in workflow efficiency for any professional or researcher or journalist.
It builds trust into the system through transparency. You aren't relying on the AI's memory. You are utilizing its real-time retrieval capabilities.
Okay, let's track where our project is at.
Let's do it.
We've got Google AI Studio to build our raw code and analyze our core data. We've got NotebookLM to synthesize our massive folders of internal strategy documents.
Yep.
And we've got Perplexity to fetch and verify our external market research. We have an incredibly solid foundation of data and logic right now.
A great foundation.
But we live in a visual world. A folder full of verified text files isn't going to win over a client or an investor.
Not a chance.
We have to translate these facts into a visual language. We need graphics, diagrams, and, aesthetic branding.
And visual communication is traditionally where great ideas hit a massive wall.
Oh, totally.
Because you can have the most compelling concept in the world, but translating that into something visually engaging requires an entirely different skill set.
Right. Which is why our source
Uh-huh.
points to Microsoft Designer to solve this.
Yes.
It highlights Designer for AI image generation, specifically noting it creates social media graphics and marketing content. And it emphasizes that it is highly accessible for beginners.
Which is key.
Now, I have to be honest here, I was actually a little skeptical when our sources highlighted Microsoft Designer.
Really? Why is that?
Well, because the market is absolutely saturated with AI image generators right now. You can't open a browser without tripping over a new tool promising to generate a photorealistic image of, like, a cat riding a skateboard on Mars.
Sure, yeah.
Why is this specific tool the one that actually provides real-world value for our toolkit?
Your skepticism is completely fair, but the distinction lies in the practical application.
Cool.
Many of those heavily hyped image generators are brilliant at creating standalone, surreal art pieces. But if you are a marketer pushing a new campaign
Right.
or a professional trying to visualize a data point, you don't need a surrealist painting.
I definitely don't need the cat on a skateboard.
Right. You need a clean, engaging graphic with typography that communicates a clear message. You need utility.
Utility. Okay, right.
Right.
It's the difference between hanging a painting in an art gallery and designing a billboard that actually gets people to pull off the highway.
That's a great analogy.
One is purely aesthetic, but the other has a very specific job to do.
Exactly. And what makes Microsoft Designer so potent is how it handles the underlying design theory for you.
What do you mean by design theory?
Well, when you use professional software, you have to understand layers, vectors, negative space, font pairings, all of that.
Which I do not understand at all.
Most people don't. But with Designer, you just describe the utility of what you need. You type, create a promotional graphic for a bakery's weekend sale with a warm, inviting aesthetic, leaving room for a title.
And it does all the layout.
Yeah, it generates not just the core image, but an entire layout. It understands where the text should go so it remains legible against the background.
See, that is the exact friction point for me.
Yeah.
I can spend an hour just staring at a screen trying to figure out if a font should be bold or semi-bold.
Oh, we've all been there.
Or like where to put the company logo so the graphic doesn't look cluttered and amateurish. I know when a design looks bad, but my brain just doesn't work in color palettes to fix it. You know?
Right. You don't have the vocabulary to fix it.
Exactly. This tool takes the raw intention. I need a post that looks warm and inviting and applies the complex design theory for me. It is incredibly empowering for someone who has zero formal design experience.
It allows the user to focus entirely on the strategy of the communication. You spend your energy thinking about the message of the marketing campaign, rather than getting bogged down in the tedious mechanics of, aligning text boxes and adjusting opacity levels.
Which brings us to the final hurdle of our project.
The big finale.
We have to package all of this up. We have the code, the synthesized internal strategy, the verified external facts, and the striking visual assets.
Yep.
The final step in almost any professional endeavor is presenting this package to an audience. You have to pitch it.
You do.
And formatting a presentation is honestly often the most soul-crushing part of the process.
Without a doubt.
That is where our final tool, Gamma, comes in.
Gamma serves as the ultimate synthesis engine for presentation.
Okay, tell me more.
According to our source, Gamma creates AI presentations, documents, and websites. The core value proposition highlighted is its ability to convert ideas into polished decks quickly.
Quickly being the operative word.
Yes. It is designed to collapse the timeline from a messy outline to a finished product.
Now, let me push back on the polished decks part for a second.
Sure.
Are these actually boardroom ready? Because my nightmare is feeding my brilliant, carefully researched business plan into an AI, and it spits out a slide deck that looks like a PowerPoint template from 2008.
With a cheesy blue gradient.
Yes, a blue gradient and terrible clip art.
It is a valid concern, honestly, but Gamma operates on a dynamic layout engine, not static templates.
What's the difference?
Well, when you feed it your messy bullet points, your verified facts from Perplexity, and your general thesis, it doesn't just copy and paste that text into pre-existing boxes.
Oh, okay.
It actually analyzes the content and designs the layout around it. If it detects you are listing a chronological series of events, it will automatically generate a sleek timeline graphic.
Really?
Yeah. If you are comparing two products, it builds a clean comparison matrix. It handles the pacing, the visual hierarchy, and the design themes simultaneously.
Okay, so it's actually interpreting the data and deciding the most effective visual way to display it on the slide,
Exactly.
rather than just forcing my text into a rigid format where half the words get cut off.
Correct. It eliminates the formatting friction entirely, because if you are an entrepreneur pitching a startup or a student submitting a massive final capstone project, your time is your most finite resource.
Absolutely.
Gamma allows you to spend your time refining the narrative arc of your presentation. You practice your delivery, you refine your arguments, you don't spend 3 hours at midnight nudging a bullet point 2 pixels to the left because the formatting broke.
Ugh, I have lived that midnight nightmare so many times.
We all have.
It's the ultimate final polish, then. It's like handing a messy stack of notes to an incredibly eager, hyper-competent junior designer at 5 p.m., and by 5 p.m., they hand you back a sleek, interactive website or a professional slide deck.
That's exactly what it's like.
So if we take a step back and look at the whole picture of what we've uncovered today, the scope of this is just staggering.
It really is.
Because if you leverage these 5 sources, you essentially have an entire digital agency at your fingertips. And it's operating entirely for free.
It is a remarkably complete workflow stack.
Let's review it. You have your lead backend engineer in Google AI Studio.
Check.
You have your tirelessly patient, personalized strategy analyst in NotebookLM.
Check.
You have a world-class fact-checking research assistant in Perplexity. You have a dedicated graphic designer who understands layout theory in Microsoft Designer.
Yep.
And finally, you have a presentation expert to package the entire project in Gamma. All of this without hitting a single paywall or subscription prompt.
The democratization of these capabilities is just unprecedented, but, simply knowing these tools exist isn't going to actually change your workflow.
Right, you have to use them.
My challenge to you, the listener, today is to not let this just be an interesting deep dive you listen to. Look at your current projects. Identify your single biggest bottleneck.
Find the friction.
Exactly. Are you struggling to synthesize a massive stack of reading material? Upload it to NotebookLM tonight. Are you dreading formatting a deck for a meeting tomorrow? Run your outline through Gamma.
Just start somewhere.
Pick just one of these tools and actively apply it to your friction point.
Yeah, don't try to boil the ocean and learn all 5 today. Just pick one and see how it feels to eliminate that specific bottleneck.
Great advice.
But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought, pulling right back to where we started. We talked about how finding these free tools feels like discovering a secret menu.
Right.
But secrets of this magnitude don't stay secret forever. If this incredible level of power, efficiency, and synthesis, the literal ability to output the work of an entire 5-person agency, is currently available to anyone with an internet connection for absolutely free.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the future baseline of human productivity? Very soon will this kind of AI fluency stop being a cool secret menu trick that makes you look like a rock star and just become the new basic literacy?
That's the real question.
Will we reach a point where your boss, your clients, or your professors simply expect you to independently output the volume and quality of an entire team just to meet the new minimum standard?
It's a daunting thought.
It is a massive shift in expectations, and it's something to mull over the next time you're staring at a blank screen wondering where to start. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.